Welcome back. I'm going to recap a little bit on the Nasdaq US 100. It's an indices trading. If you're following on my YouTube channel and also the Twitter account, you should have known that I took a shot last Friday. Eventually marked me for a 2 hour short. Um, So what happened last Friday was typically on Friday itself, we see a large move that most of the trader would call it a large move. Basically, in terms of the market structure, we call it a large reaccumulation and also the redistribution. So what I found here was when I actually came to the market on Friday afternoon, it was somewhere around here, if I'm not wrong. Somewhere here, I think I saw a displacement to the up to the downside on 15 minutes, which is this 15 minutes. Um, and to me, another confluence that liquidity has been taken before the downside of displacement. That's why I took a shot here. I didn't really took the full amount, the full TP over here because at this point of time, I'm looking at the high has been broken. So until this is broken with displacement, I will not continue shorting. What I did last Friday was just to TP at the fib over here, which is a 50% fib according to the sell side liquidity. You could have TP over here or over here as a final TP. It's really up to you, but my plan is to stick to. I didn't really follow like fixed 2R, but my plan for this is just the 50% of it with the sell side liquidity as another confluence. So fast forward to, let me hide this up. Okay, fast forward to today. Um, I also took a shot on. Sorry, I took a long last night. I took a long last night. I posted this during the morning time. This was taken yesterday, 10:30 p.m. EAST. So to me, it was forming a higher low with a higher high with break through the upside. Taken this outside liquidity. My entry is just right at the turtle soup. Basically, entry at the mitigation level, which is this one, and the stop loss at the low. I think it wasn't a really 2R trade. I think somewhere like 1.8 trade, 1.8 R trade or something like that. So I let it run, and I got stop up somewhere in like 2 o'clock midnight, which is the London Q zone. So I just want to recap a little bit on this one before I really move into the Nasdaq. For this GBP USD long, I wasn't really following my plan fully in a way that my entry was set to long. Um, I think around like 9 plus at night, but it wasn't filled until like 10:30. So the reason behind is that um, I didn't cancel it even though after 10 o'clock. My plan is to not execute any trade after past 10 o'clock at night because more than often that when I see the price move, usually entry after the 10 will be taken out during the London Q zone if there's no large displacement to one direction. So that's what happened last night. Um, and going back to this Nasdaq, um, basically the point here is that we have to bear in mind that the previous Friday high or low will be taken. That will be the early week of draw liquidity. So I mark out this previous Friday high and previous Friday low, which is in the orange color. If you refer back to H4, um, we didn't break with displacement. That's why we had a push down to the downside and broke this level again. But it was a rate. It wasn't a displacement to the downside. So at this point of time, I would probably look for long if you were to ask me. And actually, right at you know what, like right at this is nine o'clock, right? So 9:30 is here. So if you can see based on the market structure over here, the price action over here, a lot of people actually look at this as a break to the upside, which is like a M15 break. Sometimes in a intraday trade, this is more than enough to justify that the direction is kind of formed. So a lot of people will use this as a demand and long back to the high or whatever TP level you want to. But to me, this is the liquidity that has to be taken before any reaction form. Either it plunged down with displacement and continuation to the bearish downtrend, or like what we are seeing here, it rate to the low and followed by bigger structure. So what I see here is that we have a double break to the upside. We have a rate and followed by another rate, and bigger structure to the upside. What H1 boss followed by a second H1 boss. So if you go down to M5, this is much clearer. So this was the low that caused the high here, which broke with 1 hour displacement and came back down to demand and broke again. So this is the new low with the new high. Um, all these are liquidity formed during lunchtime. There's no movement basically until like 3 o'clock. I was actually waiting for this, but I didn't really pull an execution just because I had a loss in the morning. Sorry, I mean I had a loss over the night, and I didn't really want to force a trade for my account. I just want to stick to the plan. Usually, I would try to stick to just um, one loss in a day. I try to if I don't see any good structure or price action that I want to trade. So at this point of time, I think around lunchtime, 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was actually looking for price to come back down to this demand and a continuation long to the draw liquidity over here. As you can see that this price is coming back to the high here, tease the high. A lot of people will long here because it's like so close to the target point, but they will eventually be liquidated after the move down and liquidate all the late longs and finally the final move to the upside. So we have to focus on the market structure that this is the new low, this is the new high, and it's very close to the liquidity that we want to mark our draw liquidity. So this is not a high R&R trade. Two and a half R or maybe 2 R with the spread being considered. It's not a very difficult trade to be executed. I would say this is still the range. This is still the range. Um, but my TP level will be this one just because it's very close to the internal range high over here. So I will just mark this out as our TP. But unfortunately, I didn't really take anything on this trade. But I just want to mark this out. I had a chat to pull this out over here. Give me 1 second. now. So this was posted somewhere around like 3:16, which has already moved. I actually placed this for like 3 hours until it was filled, and when it really went. I was really puzzled that whether this will meet the target point before the market closure, but it really, really went right at 4 o'clock. So I should have stuck to the plan. But yeah, for anyone who's watching this video until the end, I appreciate you, and please subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content about this. If you have something similar in mind or something that you really want to take a look, in terms of guideline or maybe some kind of education that you want to know, please feel free to drop in the comments. I would be happy to help out if you have any questions. So yeah, that's a quick one. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.